like to welcome everyone here. If you, we have a call to order for the meeting, and if we could please stand and pledge for a moment of, and remain standing for pledge of a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
States of America,
and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation under God,
God, indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Thank you. Ms. Butler, could you do a roll call, please?
Commissioner Walk,
Here,
Commissioner Kuzma,
Here.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
She's here, I think.
I think you're on mute. You're on mute.
Well, I know she's there.
Okay.
Thank you.
I didn't know I was.
That's okay.
Commissioner Algieri,
here,
Commissioner Roderick,
Here.
Commissioner Poirier,
here.
President Rocco.
Here. Just to acknowledge, we had an executive session on Monday, March 29th to discuss litigation and personnel issues. We like department reports to first, please. Code enforcement, Mr. Snelson.
Okay, other than the written report, the only thing I have is before you tonight, we have two ordinances amending some existing ordinances for parking and traffic control. And other than that, just March was a very busy permit and zoning month, and April already is shaping up to be even busier, at least on the zoning end. We should have a pretty full hearing agenda for this month.
Thanks, John. Just could you briefly just say what these parking ordinances, how they've changed a little bit? That would be helpful.
Sure. The first one, 964, we're going to be amending Chapter 15 of Motor Vehicles and Traffic General Parking Regulations. With discussions with the police department, the road department, and some issues with plowing. There's a couple streets that we're going to limit parking on one side just to make it easier for the plows and everything to get through. And we're also amending a section for parking and storing of vehicles in residential districts where like trailers, boat trailers, RVs, to store them on your property, but they would have to be stored on what's called an improved parking surface, where it'd have to be gravel, concrete, asphalt, so they're not sitting in grass.
Thank you.
Just a quick question for John. A great idea on having one way, having people park on one side of the road. Does that necessitate putting up a bunch of signage, however?
It will require some additional signage on that side of the street.
Any
Oh,
other
this is
questions for
terrible.
John?
This is just terrible.
Okay.
Haven't I gone through this in a
Excuse me, sir. We can thank Greg. Would you? Someone's talking there. I don't know who it is.
Dennis McAndrew, would you please mute yourself, please?
I didn't see that.
I
comment.
muted him.
Thank you. John Murray, Engineering, KLH. John?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just some updates on the written report. Greg, I don't know if you had a chance to maybe be able to share those photos I sent over to you.
Yeah, I have them.
Okay.
So I'm going to share my screen. So there's one. You can see that.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks, Greg. So just kind of an update, and Greg, you can, nothing in particular, if you want to just kind of briefly scroll through them. We're actually to the restoration phase. A lot of the, not a lot, all the pipe is actually in the ground on the force main projects. Ahead of schedule so far. Hopefully if weather cooperates, we should be able to finish on schedule. Really, obviously that's weather dependent. These slide areas that you see up here, we did meet last week with RTC and their engineer. They are happy and have basically signed off on the slides to their satisfaction and their independent geotechnical engineer satisfaction. So all in all, so far the force main project is coming pretty close to an end. And I think we're down the home stretch other than the restoration. Like I said, everything else is going well. The pump station projects, we did have a site meeting with Mealy due to some of the concerns with the staging down at the Boston area. We walked through that with the contractor. He doesn't feel that there's really going to be much of a staging issue there. Kind of walked through how he was going to build a job. He acknowledged that, it's a very constrained site. And, he took that into account in his bid, and for site fencing during construction, obviously with the close proximity of the ball field. So that's all have been, has been taken care of, in his construction. Obviously there's going to be some inconveniences we're going to work through. Hopefully those are going to be in the winter time here, so we can keep access to the soccer fields and everything. But, all in all, I think that they're ready to roll. I did talk to Greg, I think tonight, and I think it's on the agenda to do the formal award to both of the contractors. They've already started to get all their bonds and insurance and everything ready. So we're ready to rock and roll on that one as well. So all in all, I think the Elizabeth the McKeesport project so far, it's wrapping up pretty good. And so far it looks like, kicking off the pump station project looks to be going pretty well so far. So I don't know if there's any questions from the board on that before I move on to just the general, some of the general township stuff.
Any questions for Mr. Mowry from the board?
Okay.
Nope.
The last item is the 2021 paving. I did, we opened bids last Thursday. Greg and I, we did have, I believe 9 bidders. The low bid was from Tresco, who did your paving last year for a price of $404,500. All the numbers are pretty close. Tresco did say that they are happy with their bid and they're ready to start. I did get a call from Greg today, and there's some prep work that Paul has to do ahead of them. So we're going to hold off on the award of this until next month. But I did talk to Greg today. Just wanted the board to be aware that we did have the bid opening and the bids came in, and we're ready to award that as soon as Paul's done doing his prep work. So we'll take care of that next month. All in all, that's all I have, unless there's any question from the board.
The only thing that I would have, John, and I know that you talked about this the last meeting. So the force main project should be finished. What was the date? It's the end of April, or
Yeah.
was there a specific date? Just to have the.
We got an extension to, I believe, the 29th.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, there was a 2-week weather extension. And both contractors, there's some signage, bollards, all of that's being delivered today. So or this week. So it's really just comes down to the restoration and putting the trail back together.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have one thing for the engineer, if we have a minute.
Go ahead, Rob.
John, just wanted to bring it to the full board's attention, and I know this may, cause a little bit more work for you, but just wanted to make sure everybody on the board was aware. There's been a lot of talk about the infrastructure grants for the federal government, or this $2.2 trillion infrastructure bill. And I have talked to Congressman Doyle's office with Paul D'Alessandro, and he asked that if we could get something ready as far as an executive summary on any infrastructure needs we may have, it may be more beneficial to have those shovel ready. So I know we have, quite a few needs. Jacktown comes Forest Hills. And, also, we've had some issues with the water pressure in Smithdale, and that caused PA America to they need to put in another pump station like for pressurized. And I know that was a $1 million+ project, and that was probably 7 years ago. They talked about putting it in, so that may be something that falls underneath there too. But I just wanted to make, I don't know, Mr. Chairman, if we need a motion to direct the engineer to, to basically provide these executive summaries. And what Congressman Doyle's office was looking for is basically a quick overview of the project and an estimated cost. I mean, they're not going to hold us to it, but I guess they want to see how much they want to loop together. But I didn't want to like direct John to do that without the board's approval, but I didn't know if you wanted a motion later, Mr. President, to do that, to be able to, because there's going to be a little bit of work involved to get these together. But I think now's the time we make sure everything in Elizabeth Township that we can, we kind of have it ready to be looked at for these infrastructure grants if they do come along.
Rob, just
John, what would it take to put something together like that? And is that out of the scope of your agreement with us?
Well, I mean, yeah, but we could do it. When you say scope of the agreement, I mean, it'd be out of our typical retainer.
Right.
Mr. President, I can't foresee it being a ton of work. I
Okay.
could sit down, really what I need to do is really sit down with Greg
Okay.
and define what those projects are that, that you actually want to go after. And then between the two of us, I can't imagine it's going to be more than, a couple of days worth of work just to put some narratives together, maybe a couple exhibits and some cost estimates. I'm going to need some direction from Greg and the board to actually what projects you want to go after. And then I can work with you guys to put those numbers together. It's not a big deal.
Do we need a motion on that, guys, or we can just move forward? I'll give John the authority to go ahead and meet with Greg and go for the next step.
I think you just advise them to move forward.
Yep, I'm good with that.
Just go ahead, John, and move forward on that. We
All right,
appreciate it.
Greg, I'll talk to you tomorrow and we'll set something up.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Rob.
And thanks, Rob. I appreciate that, Rob. And any additional help that you get on that would be greatly appreciated.
Absolutely.
And if you have any documents or support on that, that would be good too. Things that we could share with other members of the board. Greg could put that out on our board docs or in our Google Drive, and we could share that out.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Force main update. I guess you really gave that, John, unless Dave Maciosi's on. I'm not sure Dave's on. Greg, is he with us tonight?
I don't think he's on.
Anything else, Kyle, that you wanted to add on force main? Or I think we're all good, right?
No, we're good. Thank you.
Okay. We'll come back to your report, Greg, in a second.
Okay.
Chief, you out there?
I don't have much more than what's written on my monthly report, but just so you guys see, we had 605 calls for the month, which is a lot for us, but 222 of those calls were the Chase Bank fraud related. So I really appreciate the commissioners waiving the fee for the township residents to get their report requests. So just want to put that out there.
And I want to thank you for recommending that. And for those of you that are on the call or on the Zoom this evening, Chief recommended, we had over 222, I believe, somewhere around there, right?
Just for the month of March was 222. I think total was around 250.
Yeah,
So,
and that was on the Chase card fraud, debit card fraud, and we waived the fee for the police report for the people in the community. It was really an exorbitant amount of money, and we just felt it was the right thing to do, considering the pandemic and everything that's going on. So again, thanks, Chief, on that recommendation. Anything else for the chief?
Nope.
Okay. Mr. Twaley, Public Works.
Yeah, other than what was in my monthly report, I just wanted to report in the public meeting about the salt bin. We got the roof on it. The floor is concreted. They're coming tomorrow to finish the concrete on the apron. So then the rest of the work will be up to us to finish the outside, the landscaping. And other than that, we're shifting from the winter to spring.
You know, I'm hoping that the new salt shed's like a snow blower. Once you buy one, it never snows again, but I don't think that's going to happen. But commend your crew and the group for putting it together. And I'm surprised we got through the winter. Thank goodness. I don't think we're going to have any more snow. But
I hope not.
yeah, I agree.
Well, Paul, I wanted to ask you also as to when the basketball league's going to start that can play inside there as well.
Hopefully I have it full of salt before they play basketball again. So
What is the plan too, Paul, for the old salt garage, the salt bin?
we have not explored that.
Okay.
A few ideas out there. I was just trying to get the new one up, and one thing at a time here.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Anything else for Paul? Paul and I did talk about a problem on Circle Drive, and we're going to try to address that. We've had some resident of the community talk about some roadway over there. Greg, and you looked at that, and I think, John, you might have been involved in that as well. So that's something that we'll talk about too, trying to solve that problem for a resident. Sanitary report, Viola Water.
So Dennis called me.
Are you there?
I'm sorry, Dennis called me right before the meeting, said he could not make it. He had an emergency install
Okay.
at another customer. So he gave me a few notes to point out.
Go ahead, Greg, if you would, please.
Excuse me, real quick. The Boston pump station did flood over the last month. It flooded once during the heavy rains. And I think maybe you, John Mowry from KLH, discussed maybe some provisions in the future to not prevent flooding, but to reduce the damage. There was some damage. I don't have an exact amount, a couple $1,000s in some repairs. He said everything was compliant with the pump station, and I believe that's all we had. And the rest is on his written report, which is in the drive.
Thank you very much, Greg.
You're welcome.
Mr. Rakunas, solicitor, any report?
I have nothing in addition to the items that we discussed on our March 29th executive session, unless there's any questions from the board.
Thank you, Matt. Anyone, any questions for Matt?
Nope.
Okay. Greg, you want to give us your report?
Sure. So there's so much going on. I sometimes don't know what to report on, honestly, but I'm going to keep it all on the positive side. I want to start off with major thank yous to the police, the road crew, and the administrative and code staff. So the police, it was a very busy month. The police were very diligent and cooperative with the residents with the identity theft. They just kept coming in. It was actually unbelievable how many there were. So they handled it really, really well. The road crew gets the gold star this month for sure. They did about approximately a dozen repairs down by the trail in a very timely fashion to ensure that they added storm inlets and they fixed culverts and so forth. They just did it in a very timely manner so that they were in line with the restoration schedule with the contractors. So they really got to it quick and they did a really nice job. All the problems are solved. And then admin, I just can't thank them enough for the last 2 months. As far as my first 2 months as the township manager, we've just been very busy. They've been very helpful, and I just want to publicly thank them. Also, we had an Easter event at the middle school. I want to thank the Elizabeth Forward Board of Directors, School Board, for letting us use their lot, and thank you, commissioners, for letting us hold the event. We gave away about 120 bags of goodies to the kids, and they just had big smiles on their faces. It was a very, very nice event. or we have Earth Day coming up. I want to let the residents know that that's on April 22nd. So we have some safety vests, gloves, garbage bags, things like that. If anyone wants to stop by and grab some supplies, clean up their street or clean up a street that they think is full of litter. I think a few of us might head out that same day in the morning and clean up a street ourselves. So that's available. Just come onto the township building and let us know what you need. This month we were awarded for 2021, the Allegheny League of Municipalities Banner Community Award. I think this is our third or fourth year in a row. And that's just a high standard for communities in Allegheny County that follow some of their high, expectations for a community. There's a lot of different categories. So we were able to achieve that again. So we're very proud of that. And we're working on there's 2 resolutions on the agenda tonight. They're related to a Allegheny County blight grant for demolition of blighted properties. So we're going to apply for that. And the 2 resolutions, really all they do is they formally acknowledge that we're requesting funds from the county through Act 152, and they've assigned a designated authority to do the transactions, which would be myself as township manager. And the other resolution just ensures that all the properties we submit are considered abandoned according to the Blighted Property Conservatorship Act. So I'll have a list to you, commissioners. Myself and John and Jessica went through our list of blighted properties that we had from our data project from a year ago. And we made sure all the information was still valid and up to date. And then Andrew sent a list of blighted properties also. So we put those lists together and we'll send you a list for your approval. And then we started about a month ago, we started an energy provider analysis. We have about 25 electric accounts, the township, and then we have 3 gas accounts. And I know for a fact when I started as manager, these accounts were at different phases of contracts. Some contracts had expired, and there were some providers charging us quite a bit of money because our contracts had expired, and they don't do their due diligence and necessarily let us know because they stand to make a lot of money if we fall out of contract. So we're currently working with just not on a fee basis, but just as a preliminary basis, a consultation firm and a provider. And then we're going to gather what they get for us, and then we're going to decide on if we want to go with one of them on a long-term basis. And that's it. And President Rocco and I met with Standard & Poor today for an interview for our ratings for bonds. And that was about an hour-long interview about our financial condition. Thought that went really well. That's all I have for now.
Thanks, Greg. And that report should be back to us by the end of the week, hopefully, from Standard & Poor's to get our report. So,
yep.
Thanks.
It went well. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Committee reports, Budget and Finance. Dan?
We did not meet in March for the Budget and Finance Committee.
Thank you. Code Enforcement Building Inspection, any report?
So we didn't hold a meeting either. However, we did work with Greg to apply for the Blighted Properties grant. And I also want to commend Greg because I was down in industry the other day and I noticed that he and Jess were riding around in the area, tagging vehicles and issuing citations. And it's been really nice to see some presence over there.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation, Mr. Walk.
Yeah, I'd like to talk a little bit about the Boston Ball Field. We have a group that uses the field on Sundays. It's a co-ed league. It's been in the township for 13 years now. Last year, we enacted some policy that there would be payments made for each time that's scheduled at the ball field. The commissioners of that league are asking that the township commissioners consider waiving that fee. I'm going to bring forth a motion when it becomes time so that we can actually have a vote on this. Personally, I'm in favor of this. This league is made up of how many, Greg? 150 people in that league, and
Approximately.
almost all of them are indeed township residents, adult taxpayers. I'd like to remind the board that we do extend our youth league. We don't charge them. We waive those fees, and I really I've made my feelings felt about this before, but tonight we have to talk about it again because we got some pushback from the league on the offer that we made them. Other than that, I'm not sure how we're doing on the community center as far as people starting to have events. Has that started to pop yet? John's shaking his head. Yes.
Yes, it's actually the girls in the office just commented today that it's starting to really pick up, and the reservations are pretty much in line with the way they were pre-COVID.
Okay, good. That's it, Mr. President.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Walk? Comments? Okay. Public personnel, that no report. Public safety, police, anyone, public safety?
Yeah, no, there's nothing to report at this moment, Mr. President.
Thank you. Sanitation, Kyle?
Nothing to report on than what was Mr. Murray has already brought forward.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, public comment. Greg, we have some public comment tonight.
We do. We have two residents that would like to comment. First is Jeremy McBride.
Okay. Mr. McBride?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, and members of the board. As some of you may know me, some of you may not know me. I've had an issue ongoing at my residence with my neighbors at 103 Narragansett and their 6 pit bulls. They have blatantly refused to listen to Inspector John in regards to cleaning up after their animals over the last 12 months. There have been numerous barking dog reports, numerous calls on dog feces reports. They've also been reported to the Allegheny Health Inspector. There's numerous residents in the area that are even afraid to walk past our house because of these animals. I've seen these animals fight so bad to where they have had their legs broken. They've had torn ligaments. They've had chest tubes. They've had hundreds of stitches. And then up until this last week, I was outside with my dog on a leash on my property. 2 of them got out from the homeowner and charged at myself and my dog. I actually was bit on the arm in this process. They have been reported to Hoffman's numerous times, only to have had slaps on the wrist from the magistrate. They do not have their dogs up to date on shots. And then most recently, their dogs are supposed to be on quarantine from the animal bite to myself. They blatantly refuse to follow the quarantine rules that Hoffman's are putting in front of them. And they also have a fence that is, let's say, subpar. And that's one of the big issues I have is with what can we do code-wise from a board stance on revising this situation. They don't listen to John whenever he asks them to clean up their feces. But however, we refuse to actually give them any type of citation to have them start paying fines. It's just constantly John goes over and wastes his time to have to keep constantly asking them to clean it up. But we are still not finding them. I just want the issue resolved. I have 2 young children. The people across the street have 2 young children, and their neighbor on the other side has a 5-year-old. Our kids are afraid to go play in their yards due to these animals. It's 6 pit bulls in a postage stamp yard, and I'm looking for solutions. I've been working with Hoffman's. I've been working with numerous board members, and you guys know who you are, but I'm looking for help and comment on what we can do about this situation before it becomes a serious incident where a child gets bit or multiple people get bit when these dogs get out.
I'll begin this discussion, and I might want to add too that Jeremy reported that they got out again today. Is that true, Jeremy?
Correct. 4 of their 6 pit bulls got out again today, and including in those 4 were the 2 that are supposed to be on quarantine that came after myself and my dog on March the 31st.
I'd also like to note that these dogs came out through the garage and not the fence. Is that true also?
The dogs today, actually, Cal, came out the front door. The two that attacked me came out of the garage.
Okay. So the first issue has been the dog feces. And because I've been there numerous times, and as you can imagine, it's horrible. Jeremy has sent us multiple pictures, and I just can't imagine what the inside of this house looks like either, because these dogs have to walk through the yard to get back in the house. Now, John, specifically, have they been issued a citation for not cleaning up their dog feces? And if the answer is no, when will that citation be issued?
They have cleaned it up in the past when they were asked to. It's, again, if they clean it up, we've got to start over. I did have a meeting with the dog owner, the husband on Friday. Went over it with him. I said, it's got to be cleaned up. We're going to keep a violation open. Anytime we find it from this point forward, we're going to keep this violation open and issue a township ticket for that. I talked to Mr. McBride this morning.
Hello.
He said there was some there, so I went over this morning and looked. There was some feces in the yard. I did catch the husband on his way to work. I said it's got to be cleaned up. I will be back again to follow up to make sure it is. If not, we will issue a township ticket. And Greg and I had this conversation earlier today. We're just going to keep this violation open.
That's
John,
Well, don't they have too many
I'd like to make a
animals
comment real
Excuse
quick,
me,
John.
Excuse me, one person at a time. This is
Yeah.
not to be an open forum here. We're, Mr. McBride, and Mr. McBride, we appreciate this. Some board members do have a comment. So Mrs.
Okay.
Beck, I think you have a comment.
Don't they have too many animals for our ordinance?
Well, that's part of the problem we have. We have two ordinances that conflict. The most recent one says 5, one says 4. The most recent one, and I went over this with Matt, it states anything over that number, you're required to register those animals with the township, which the owner did according to our ordinance.
Any other commissioners?
That's some old vague language from that ordinance that was adopted in 2006.
Yeah, and I just want to make one comment before we move
Well,
on.
that needs
I just want to
updating.
let the resident know, I'm also working on this as from the solicitor end to review with John. John's been in touch with me numerous times. So we're doing everything that we can on an administrative end. I mean, John has been there to look at the fence months ago. I mean, this has been an ongoing issue and we understand that. So I'm working with administration and we'll handle whatever we can.
I think one of the ways the township can help in this, John, is indeed, as you said, to keep this violation open as far as the dog feces, but that needs to be checked on a daily basis. Please, that ridiculous. Now, the next part of this is that these are dogs actually attacked. And that gets into the, well, let's just say the dangerous animal phase of this. And if Chief, if you wouldn't mind, I know you reviewed Pennsylvania Municipal Code on this. Could you give us a brief statement on how a dangerous animal is declared? And then also, if you would, how that relates to this situation?
So, yeah, I mean, I talked to Hoffman's over this, and I talked to Mr. McBride on Friday in regards to this as well. I mean, in order to be a dangerous dog, you got a serious bodily injury to a human or serious bodily injury or death to a domesticated animal. So unfortunately, in this case, neither has occurred. So it's hard to get the state to declare them a dangerous dog. So, I mean.
And Chief, it's Matt. Isn't that something that's normally handled at the county level? So if Mr. McBride suffers an injury, he should report that to the county health department. They'll do an investigation. And they could issue citations. There's various things, which I'm sure you've already done, Mr. McBride. But, in terms of that, Kyle, I don't think that's a local enforcement issue. I think that's more at the county level. So I want to, just to keep it on our level and what we can do. Like I said, I'll work with John to see what we can do to resolve those other.
That's good, Matt. I'm glad you brought that all up. My effort right now is not only to help Mr. McBride, but to get the public to understand that we have been looking at this very heavily. This stuff went out on Facebook and there were 800 or 900 people that comment on this. This is not good for the township. This needs to be resolved. And the more pressure that we can put on it, I think that the faster it's going to get resolved.
Do we have anything in place for, to being able to control your animal? I mean, obviously, this gentleman does not have any control over his pets.
Well, that's what,
The main issue, Rich, is like they're getting out the front door. It's not a fencing issue, right? That it started out, we thought it was a fencing issue. That was the first complaint. But as you heard, the last 2 times the dogs got out, it's just been, you know, having a door open or the garage door open. So it's not like they're breaking the fence and the enclosure. So that's been part of the issue.
Have you guys
Hey, Matt, I
seen
have a
pictures
question.
of the fence? Just out of curiosity. Sorry to speak out of line, guys, but have you seen pictures of the fence, everyone?
Yes.
We have, Mr. McBride. And again, I think, just to reiterate what Commissioner Walk has said, you know, we have expended resources on this through legal, zoning, the chief of police, the board. I mean, everyone's looking at and trying to get it, you know, get the issue resolved. So I don't think this is a lack of trying on our end as far as trying to keep things under control. So, you know, we will continue to do what we can. I will continue to work with the code enforcement officer and, you know, and look at our ordinances and obviously, you know, take care of the things that we can control. But, you know, when they're getting out through the front door and if there's no significant injuries, those injuries should be reported to the county. That's a county level thing, not a local level thing. So we'll do what we can on our end.
Hey, Matt, I have a question. So what would it take to modify our ordinance to clarify the number of dogs that you're allowed to have, 4 or 5, and also possibly forbid or limit dangerous animals in the township? And we could classify them on our own, whether it's by breed or however you want to put it.
Yeah, I mean, you get
That way we don't have to have the county, you know, require that someone gets seriously injured before they classify. Can we just go ahead and put a blanket classification over a breed?
I think that's a question best sent to our planning commission for a discussion item. I mean, you know, it gets into constitutionality issues when you're limiting numbers, things. So, I mean, it's something that can be looked at. As far as the conflict goes, I don't know what else is in those ordinances. You know, if it was just that issue, then we could certainly repeal whichever ordinance we want. But I think there may be other things in those ordinances, if I recall from my conversations with John. So I don't think it's as easy as we would like it to be, which is why I think it's been an ongoing issue. So I think these are all interesting discussion items, but that's why we have a planning commission, is to discuss these things and, you know, make recommendations to the board. You know, this is the legislative end. Let them do the planning on it and figuring that out, and then bringing it to you with a recommendation. That would be my opinion.
So would it be possible to make a motion to send an assignment to the planning commission to investigate adopting a dangerous animal ordinance or comparing it to what other municipalities are doing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you even need to do that through a formal motion. You certainly can if you want to, but you certainly can just notify the chairperson of the planning commission and say, we want this stuck on as an agenda item. Actually, the person who creates the agenda items on this meeting, John Snelson. So I'm sure John will have it.
I can add it to the agenda.
Yeah, we'll add it to the agenda. So I don't even think you need a formal motion.
Well, along the same lines is, so the fencing is inadequate, but yet the dogs haven't got out of the fencing. Is there any wording that the township could place in our ordinance beyond, I know we just follow the national code on fencing. Is there anything that we can do here, John?
Well, the thing with fencing, and Matt's very well aware of this, we don't define specifically what makes up a fence other than what a fence is. Our definition of a fence is a structure designed for the purposes of enclosing a space or separating parcels of land. I mean, it doesn't say it has to be chain link, stockade, vinyl, plastic, split rail. You know, a fence is a fence.
John, can we amend that to add for if there's animals, maybe for a certain type of fence?
I think that might be able to go into the dangerous animal ordinance. If you have a dangerous animal, you have to have a such and such fence, chain link, area 2 feet underground.
Now, I do believe, hold on, I have it here right in front of me. Under the dangerous animals, It does include information on the fencing for an animal that's classified as a dangerous animal,
Oh, come on.
but it has to meet the definition of a dangerous dog. And the fencing requirements on that are it gives how much is required per weight of the dogs, runs, sizes.
Just so we're not,
This is,
planning this out here. I mean, this is really what the planning commission is for. So why don't you just add it on? We know what we want to do or what the idea is in terms of fencing, dangerous dog issues. And, regardless of whether that they fit Mr. McBride's specific situation, because it doesn't sound like, at least according to the chief or the county, at least at this point, that they're designated as dangerous. But we understand in the future, those are some things we need to address. I think you and I can work together with the planning commission to come up with something and try and figure those issues out.
John, when is the next planning commission meeting scheduled?
It is the third Wednesday of this month, which is
The 21st.
21st.
So we do some work on that. Mr. McBride, certainly we want your input and we feel for you. We're listening to you. And I think that's the most important thing that we're not taking this lightly at all. And we're gonna put all necessary means to help you and address this issue with you and your family. So, please reach out. Your email was powerful. We watched it. We were all very concerned. And, hopefully we'll be able to address this issue as quickly and readily as possible. And with the intent of keeping you and your family and the other neighbors in your area there safe. So again, we appreciate it. And again, I wish there was a magic wand we could wave, but we're on it. Just so that we're going to address this and we're going to bring all efforts forward to help you with this issue. Okay.
Guys, I'd like to finish with two final comments. I am looking into putting a fence up along the side of that. I have talked to John about having a variance filled out. Given the lack of fence regulations that we have in the township, I'd ask the board to waive the variance fee for me to put up a fence along that side of my house for the time being. And also a question for John. You did mention that you met with the homeowners on Friday and told them to clean up the dog poop. I know that you were there this morning. How come they weren't cited this morning when they had 2 days of a beautiful weekend to clean up all of their dog crap when they were already warned and we've had this issue going on for a while now? Why not just cite them first thing this morning when you noticed that they blatantly had disregard for your orders to clean up their dog poop?
I met with the owner on Friday. I met with him at the township building. I was not out at the property. This was the first day since Friday I was out at the property. I will be back to follow up on it. If it's not taken care of, they will be issued a township ticket.
And I just want to make one comment on the waiver issue. I don't recommend, I understand his situation, but you have to remember that we have reviewed it and this fence is not compliant. So in terms of a waiver of any fee for variance, I would recommend against it. I think it sets a dangerous precedent because it's a slippery slope. When you waive one, where does that stop, in terms of other applicants that come forward? Those fees are put in there not to make money for the township. Those fees are in there to cover our costs in terms of having those hearings. We have to have a court reporter there. You have a solicitor there that's not me. You have a different solicitor who's there, and they have to generally write opinions. So, I mean, that's what that fee is, and that fee doesn't even cover all that. So that's really what the purpose of the fee is. So I would recommend against doing that.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Also,
again, Right. Okay. We have any more public comment, Mr. Butler?
One more, Mr. President. Kathy Anderson.
Hi, the I'm Kathy Anderson. I live at 2900 Schwerian Drive. The Allegheny County Health Department put out a draft of the air pollution permit today for the Invenergy power plant. It's my understanding that Invenergy has not been in contact with the township, at least as of the last time I talked with John, which was March 1st. So that's fairly recent. So what I'm wondering is if there, in fact, has been no communication with the township, and are people aware of the fact that this permit is going out? And then going forward, does the township intend to do anything to inform residents about the power plant? That's my question.
Thank you, Mrs. Anderson. I'm going to refer to our solicitor, Mr. Rakunas, on this one. Matt?
Yeah, there's been no movement on that. I'm aware of that permit, obviously, but we haven't heard anything from the company at this point, so there's no update at all.
Okay.
Thanks, Mrs. Anderson. Appreciate your question. Okay, we have resolutions. I'll need the first one, resolution number 1, motion to approve resolution 2021-07, adopting the Allegheny County 2020 Hazard Mitigation Plan as the official hazard mitigation plan of Elizabeth Township.
So moved.
So moved.
Second by motion by Kyle, second by Rob. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes. Number 2, motion to approve resolution 2021-08, adopting the Allegheny County Act 152 to formally request funds from Allegheny County Economic Development for use on blighted structures. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second, motion by Dan Poirier, second by Andrew Kudzma. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And number 2, motion to approve resolution 2021-09, adopting the Allegheny County Act 152 to demolish blighted structures located within Elizabeth Township in accordance with the criteria under the Abandoned and Blighted Property Conservation Act. I need a motion, please.
Motion.
Rob, second. Second, Cal, Rich, I apologize. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Just a couple things that before we go into the formal agenda items regarding our comprehensive plan, we had on March 16th, we had approximately 50 residents that attended our virtual meeting regarding our plan. We had 135 residents provided email addresses to receive updates on the plan. And overall, we've had over 400 residents respond to the survey. We're still working with our group to get more information out to the residents regarding that. Just so that all the residents know too, that these meetings have been recorded. If you're interested in hearing what happened during those meetings on March 16th, there were 2 meetings, they were the same subject matter, but those are on our website. Greg Butler has posted those under our comprehensive plan site. Feel free to look at them, watch them. There are actually some really good ideas out there. And I want to thank the members of the community for being involved. Secondly, we have another meeting coming up, again, a public meeting. And I know Christine from the Daily News will put this out there, that this will be top headline news for her, but we have another meeting scheduled for April 20th from 4:30 to 5:45, and then another one from 6 to 7:45. And there'll be a Zoom link. And again, questions basically framed around the comprehensive plan design. So we need input. Obviously, there's been some discussion, I know, in the community, hearing people, about a printed survey and doing those kinds of things. We're working on that. And, but, having the input is certainly important. So, we're moving forward. This is kind of done the home stretch and finalizing some of these. So I want to thank, I know I see Ted Grice on and a couple other folks that are on Mr. Verbanek, our committee. And I want to thank you guys for your input and your help and, moving this process forward. So it is a process. It's hopefully we'll be able to do some of these things publicly. And that was one of the other things that I wanted to comment on tonight. And that is regarding, our meeting virtually. And I know everyone wants to get back to normal. But if you've not been reading the Allegheny County information on COVID and the pandemic, we're on the rise again. And we're going to follow the guidelines from the county. John sends these reports out to us every day, basically. And we're going to follow the guidelines to keep community members safe. And, I'm going to urge you to, in your own life, if you can, get the vaccine, wear masks, take social distance, take those necessary precautions to get through this. And hopefully that'll be something that, we'll be able to, again, get back to as much of normal as possible. But it's all of us, doing those same things that we know that we needed to do. We should have been doing months ago. We probably wouldn't be in this situation now. So I want to get back to normal. We want to certainly do that, but we're not going to put anyone's life in jeopardy. And so that. But that's why these comprehensive plan meetings are virtual, and they're very productive, and we're getting some great input. And Greg will put those again on our website so you can look for those.
Yeah, they're currently on the site.
Thanks, Mr. Butler. Appreciate it. Okay, here's some items for consideration moving the meeting. Non-expenditure items. I just need a motion to approve the commissioners' meeting minutes dated March 1st, 2021. I have Kyle second. I think Dan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Number 2, motion to adopt ordinance 964, amending chapter 15 of the Motor Vehicles and Traffic Part 4 General Parking Regulations. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Dan?
Second.
Second, Rich. Any discussion? This is what Mr. Snelson talked about earlier. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Number 3, motion to adopt ordinance 965, amending ordinance 959 and chapter 10, Health and Safety Part 3, Storage of Motor Vehicles. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
And second, Kyle. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Number 4, a motion to allow the Elizabeth Ford Youth Athletics to use building number 3 at the community center for a craft making fundraiser on May 28th, 2021, and waive the fee for use of that facility.
So moved.
Rob, second. Andrew, I believe. Any discussion? Well, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. And the final item for consideration under non-expenditure, a motion to waive the Boston Ballfield rental fee for a charitable softball tournament for autism hosted by Angels for Autism on Saturday, April 17th, 2021, beginning at 3 p.m. and on Saturday, June 19th, 2021, beginning at 8 a.m. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Rich, second. And a second, because someone else is talking, so. Dan, do you have a second on that?
Rob did.
Okay, thank you, I didn't hear it. All those in favor, or any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. President, before you move on, this is a good time to motion for the ball field rental fee for the Sunday League.
Okay, we'll have to have, Matt, I'm going to revert to you on that. We need if there's any discussion from the public on that. So your motion is to waive the fees for the co-ed softball league for the 2021 year. Is that right, Mr. Watt?
That's correct.
So we have a motion on the floor to waive fees for the co-ed softball league for 2021. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second Kyle.
Second it.
We have a second. Rob seconds.
You can open that up to the public for limited comment on that item only.
Okay, so any public comment on that item only? Hearing none. Any discussion from the board on that?
Is this mostly at nighttime? I mean, does it cost us for the lights? As we had to pick up garbage after them? Just curious of those types of things.
So that's a very good question, Commissioner Poirier. So they have 11 time slots, beginning early in the morning, extended until late at night. So it is an all-day affair. There have been complaints about garbage. We believe that that's been taken care of through direct conversation with their commissioners. No, that answers your question.
Okay. So we have a motion, we have a second. Any other discussion? Can we do a roll call vote on that one, please?
Sure. Commissioner Walk,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes. Motion passes. Okay. These are the expenditure items. We'll need roll call votes on all of these items. Mr. Butler. Motion to approve the general fund warrant dated April 5th, 2021 in the amount of $404,845.02.
So moved.
Dan, second.
Second.
Roll call, please. Any discussion? Sorry. A roll call, Greg.
Commissioner Walk,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes. Motion passes. Number 2. I don't know, LAC seems to be talking. I don't know who that is.
Larry, Mr. Kosher, if you're on, could you mute yourself, please?
I just muted him.
Thank you, Greg. Number 2, motion to approve the sanitary fund bill warrant dated April 5th, 2021 in the amount of $253,271.74. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Kyle Walk, second. Dan Poirier, second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Walk,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes. Number 3, motion to approve bond requisition number 2, series 2019B in the amount of $1,170,214.44. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Kyle Walk, second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Kuzma. Any discussion on this? Roll call, please, Mr. Butler.
Commissioner Walk,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes. Number 4, motion to award contract 2002, the Buena Vista General Mechanical, and contract 2020-03, Boston General Mechanical, to Melee and Melee and Sons at the low bid of $17,590,000. I need a motion and a second, please.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Kuzma, motion. Need a second.
Second.
Second, Joanne Bekowitz. Any discussion? This is the completion of our force main project, right? This is the pump station project, Mr. Walk, is that correct?
Mhm.
That is correct.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Walk,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes. Number 5, motion to award contract 2004 Buena Vista Electrical and contract 2005 Boston Electrical to Allegheny City Electric at the low bid of $2,242,900. Need a motion, please?
So moved.
I'll walk, second. I'll second that. Any discussion? Again, this is the continuation of that project, the electrical part of it. Roll call, Mr. Butler?
Commissioner Walk,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
No.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick, looks like he's frozen.
Rob, are you frozen? He's frozen.
I'll text him.
Thank you. Go to the next person in the line.
Okay, Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco,
Yes. And we're still waiting on Mr. Roderick, but we could, I think that motion, that'll be enough to pass that motion, I believe.
Yeah, Greg, just make a notation that Commissioner Roderick's connection failed at 8 o'clock.
Could I possibly call him and do get him on the phone and have him vote through this phone?
No, I think he'd have to log back in, Kyle.
Yeah, he needs to log back in so everybody could hear him.
So we'll move on to the next motion. Can we come back to that, Matt? That motion passed, right?
The motion passed. Greg just needs to make a notation that it's just like if somebody walks out of the room, right? You just make a notation in the minutes that his call failed at 8 o'clock, and then if he comes back in, he can say the connection was reestablished at 8:04, whenever it is,
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Okay, number 6, this is a motion to retain Dave Maciosi as the clerk of works for Elizabeth Township during the construction of the Buena Vista and Boston sanitary pump station at a rate of $150 per hour. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Dan, second.
Second.
I'll walk. Second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Walk,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Not with us yet.
okay, Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes. Motion passes. Number 7, motion to authorize the RC Haywood Refrigeration to install and replace the air conditioning unit in building number 1 at the Elizabeth Township Community Center at the cost of $2,350 and to install a mini split heat pump in building number 1 at a cost of $2,100. Need a motion, please?
So moved.
Dan, second.
Second.
Second, Rich. Any discussion? This was information that was in our board pack tonight for these repairs. And again, they're necessary repairs. People are still using these facilities.
President Rocco, do you need some explanation on this one?
Yeah, John, you want to give a second or two, just explanation? I read
Yeah.
the report, but
Yeah, earlier this year, we had to have one of the furnaces in building 1 replaced. That building served by 2 furnaces and 2 air conditioning units. We had the furnace replaced. We did not have the air conditioning unit replaced on that furnace at the time. And the mini split heat pump is for the bunk room in the back of building 1. The furnace that covers that, that's the longest run back to that room. And it's just not very efficient.
got it. Thank you for that explanation. Roll call, Mr. Butler.
Commissioner Walk,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick, Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes, motion passes. Number 8, motion to purchase 2 police cruisers through CoStar's purchasing program at a cost of $195.50 per vehicle, or $82,391 total. We need a motion, please.
So moved.
Rich Algiers, second.
Second.
Second, Ms. Bekowitz. Discussion. Chief, you want to comment on this at all?
So currently, right now, we have 4 vehicles over 100,000 miles. One is a 2013. The other one is a 2014. And I think we've gotten our use out of those. You know, once police vehicles hit 100,000 miles, they become somewhat of a safety issue for us, just for the way we respond to calls and stuff like that. And the maintenance on them tends to start piling up. So we have one of those 4 vehicles actually has bad transmission. So as of right now, it's at least 6 months to get the cars if we order them now. So hopefully, if we order them now, the cars will last that we have till we get the new ones on the road. So,
I have one question for Chief.
Go ahead.
This one car needs transmission work. Is that car definitely going to be put in for transmission work, or are you just going to set it on the side since you'll be getting 2 new ones in 6 months?
I mean, I'm trying to make that determination now because it is one of the Tahoes. We anticipated that those Tahoes would last till about 150,000 miles. So, I mean, it's at 112 right now. So I don't know what the cost to fix the tranny would be as to where to get rid of it. I mean, it's still in good shape. That's the only problem. It's just the tranny's been stuck in second gear. So if we, you know, I don't know. I would like to try to hold on to it, but I don't know how much the repair is going to cost. Rich has done everything he possibly can over there to try to do it himself, and he just says that he can't figure it out.
Does he feel that we could, is it worthwhile getting a tranny?
Yeah, from my understanding, yeah. You know, I mean, it has no major dents, no damage to it, no scratches. It's still in great shape. It's just, unfortunately, that tranny just didn't last in that one.
What year is that, Jared?
It's in 2015.
Yeah. And how many
You know,
miles?
it has 112,000 on it. And this is the problem. And I mean, I don't mean to talk bad about anybody, and don't take that this way. I mean, if you don't get on a plan to purchase cars on a regular basis, this is what happens.
And that's something we talked about in budgeting, and I want to commend you for bringing that plan forward. And this, with these purchase of these vehicles, are moving on that plan. But I do, you know, if there's something that could be used to repair this vehicle, and it's certainly in that kind of condition, it might be worth getting an estimate of what that will cost.
Yeah, I will. I mean, and I'm trying to hold on to the SRO car as long as possible. He's the only one that drives it. I think there's 105,000 miles on it. So, I mean, he maybe puts 20 miles on that car a day. So the longer we can hold on to that, the better.
Any other comments or questions for the chief? And these monies were budgeted in our budget this year. Is that right, Mr. Butler?
That's correct.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Excuse me, Commissioner Walk,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes, and we want to note that Mr. Roderick rejoined us at 8:08, or 8:07. Number 9, motion to reimburse the Elizabeth Youth Athletics at $10,008.99 for improvement to the 7 ball fields in preparation for the 2021 season. Need a motion, please?
So moved.
Kyle Walk, motion.
Second.
Second, Rich Algieri. Any discussion?
Yeah, how did we come up with the amount? Do we have invoices, receipts?
Mr. Butler, can you comment on that, please?
I received a letter from Bobby Madden, I think he's the president of the league or the organization. He did not provide. He did not provide actual receipts, but gave us a quote. It's in the drive.
I think it is in the drive, and I know that in the past he does provide those receipts, Dan, in that work. And
I was just wondering if we got them this year.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd be happy to provide them.
Oh, yes. Hello?
Hi, this is Bobby Madden. How are you doing?
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you.
Oh, okay, sorry. I just want to say, Dan, what we normally do is before we get the approval, then we make the purchases ourselves and we send the receipts in once we
did the purchases and put everything together for the township all at once. So we have not did anything as of yet for the season. We're getting ready for the preparation for the year. I just wanted to hop on real quick and also just say thanks to Greg. Thanks for your guys' support. And thanks to Kyle for working with me the last probably month and a half on some different issues and things. And Paul and the road crew have been awesome helping us out. And, you know, we've been, ever since COVID, we all see our fundraising has been cut in half. So it's been an awesome to see the township support the youth. I think of ourselves as just a subset of the township to provide as many activities and sports as we can for the kids. So we definitely appreciate it.
Thanks, Bob. I know you do a lot. You do tremendous work there for the kids. Does that answer your question, Daniel?
I was just kind of curious. It's about $20,000 in expenses. What does that usually, encompass in those expenses?
I can give you the overview on that. So it's actually the part that we're splitting is the $5,000 for the field dirt and such. The rest of it is we're paying for field dry. They're asking for another mound, and I forget the other item on there. So
yeah, the one item, the mound is what we've tried to do over the last 2 years is we've tried to really make, and that's not 20,000, Dan. It's really it's a true 10,000. It's actually the one item of repurposing one of the fields we try to do every 3 or 4 years to keep them in good shape. Is that's the 50% item that we're splitting. The other items are just true cost, so it's not a 20,000. It's really only around 12,000. The one main fixture that we were planning on doing, which really won't be a part of next year's, is the batting cage up behind municipal ball field. It's really falling apart, and that's just a new fencing on the top. So kids will get hurt on the cut fence. It's just kind of splitting. It's probably about 15 to 20 years old.
Dan, I apologize. That was my mistake. I left the 50% of total cost in there. Bobby and I spoke today. I misstated it initially. That's why I changed it. So only one item is 50%. The rest are full cost.
Okay.
Thanks, Bobby, for being there. And that's sort of, that does help. And I know you do a lot of great volunteer work, man. Again, I echo the appreciation. Let's have a roll call, please, on that.
Commissioner Walk?
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma?
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri?
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick?
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer?
Yes.
President Rocco?
Yes. Motion passes. Number 10, motion to approve the wireless antenna upgrades to municipal fueling system by Syntec in the amount of $4,864.75. Need a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Andrew and Rob second. Discussion. Greg, you want to talk a little bit about this? I know you and I discussed this as well.
Yeah, so we switched IT services to Shiloh. When they did the initial walkthrough, they discovered that the fuel system was on a very, very, very dated operating system, and we didn't have any upgrades. So the computer was old, the software was old. So we do get the upgrade of the software for free, or as part of our plan, but we couldn't do that without getting a new computer. And also it's in order for us to get reports. So Joyce Kraft, she'll monthly, I think it's monthly, possibly weekly, I'm not really sure. She'll get reports, and then she'll allocate the expenses of all the different departments that use the fuel, and she'll allocate it, budgetarily and bookkeeping to the different departments. And that's all stored on that computer also. So with the upgrade, it's going to go to a wireless system. So that's the motion you're on now. That would be the new antenna for the wireless system. We would eliminate the old computer, we would upgrade the software, and everything would be on the server with redundant backup and cloud-based backup. And then she would be able to pull the reports directly from her computer instead of us relying on this old computer that's probably going to die in about a month or two.
How old is that computer, Greg?
John, do you know the answer to that?
It's probably.
That's probably the oldest one in the building that's still in use. I know from looking into this, when we went with the Fuel Master system, Upgrades are included, free, the software upgrades. The township has not upgraded in over 9 years.
Again, I think this is just some, even just having a discussion about looking at our computer infrastructure and making sure that we're staying current, I think is really important because, good information in is going to be giving us good information out, and it's a better way to monitor it. Thank you, Greg and John, for those updates. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Walk,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Yes.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes. And then the second half of that is motion to approve the hardware and software upgrades to municipal fueling system by Petroleum Technical Services at a cost not to exceed $1,200. I need a motion, please.
Motion.
Rob, second, Rich, I believe. I thought Rich said something, but I couldn't tell. Any discussion? Roll call, please, Greg.
Commissioner Walk,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzma,
Yes.
Commissioner Bekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Algieri,
Lose Rich.
Yes.
There he is back.
Commissioner Roderick,
Yes.
Commissioner Poyer,
Yes.
President Rocco.
Yes. That concludes our Monday, April 5th meeting. I need a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Again, second, Kyle. All those in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everyone. Have a
Thank
safe
you, Dr. Rocco.
Good night.
Thank
See you guys.
you,
Thanks.
everybody.
Bye-bye now.
Thank you.